Welcome to the Wakpá and Paskwāw Towers at the University of Regina. These 12-story towers house over 600 students a year. These towers are located between the Education and Administration's Humanities buildings.
We acknowledge that the Paskwāw and Wakpá Towers reside on Treaty 4 land, along with the University of Regina. Treaty 4, signed between the then representatives of the Canadian government and the previous chiefs and leaders of the Nakoe, Anishinaapic, Saulteaux, Nehiyawak, Dakota, Lakota, and Nakota nations, outlined their agreements set in place, which are still alive today. We acknowledge that the signing of Treaty 4 was also on the land of the Métis Michif Nation, who had their own unique role in the signing. To meet treaty obligations, the land of which we study and reside must be shared and preserved. We must exercise truth and friendship with each other and our more than human kin. By fulfilling these obligations, we ensure Treaty 4 agreements are met and contribute to future reconciliation.
The Paskwāw and Wakpá Towers were built in 2004 and were initially named the North and South Residence Buildings. However, on September 1st, 2015, they were renamed to what they are today after a public contest. Paskwāw means prairie in Nehiyawak or Cree, and Wakpá means river in Dakota. Alongside the other residence tower, Kisik, meaning sky in Nakoe, Anishinaapic or Saulteaux, all three concepts are present on the Treaty 4 flag.
Inside the towers are multiple pieces of artwork. On the main floor is a terrazzo floor mural by artist Lauren Bugg of Regina, Saskatchewan. The art consists of discs including a leaf, a flower, a snowflake, and a bee. Each of these symbols represents the seasons, as well as references to astrological symbols and balance. Lauren Bugg is an artist from Regina who graduated from the University of Regina in 1969.
Another piece is The Land 8 by Tako Tanabe in Paskwāw Tower hallway, 101.6. This oil painting was painted in 1973 and is a photo reproduction of the original. So it is not oil painted here. And the painting shows a flat Saskatchewan landscape, as you can see. Very beautiful.
There are wonderful ways that we can make curriculum connections when wandering around the towers as well. One important way that we can learn is through the arts, which is the main curricular focus that we chose for our treaty walk.
Through CH 9.2, Indigenous artists use dance, drama, music, and visual arts to raise awareness about important issues. As well as CH 9.3, art challenges us to think differently about history, identity, and justice. As we trot about the Paskwāw Towers, let's consider the Treaty Ed outcome, HC 9.3. How does art help tell the truth about treaties? How can it help us understand Indigenous rights and responsibilities?
While viewing the buildings, think about the land we are on. How can we honor treaty relationships in our daily lives? How can we use art, music, and storytelling to share what we learn? As we reflect, let's remember that reconciliation is about action, learning, and most importantly, respect. As teachers, it is important to recognize that these art strands provide us with amazing opportunities to incorporate Indigenous learning.
Let us take a moment to analyze the beautiful artwork in the building. Land 8 by Tako Tanabe shows a prairie landscape much like the landscape in and around Regina and southern Saskatchewan. We can assume that this prairie painting was intentionally placed in the Paskwāw Tower because Paskwāw means prairie in Cree. Viewing this painting helps ground us on the land we are on, and it is a way to acknowledge everything this landscape provides us. In connection to the arts education curriculum, there is a treaty song from Saskatchewan entitled As Long as the Grass Grows by Sheena Coops, which relates well to this painting and our chosen outcomes. Let us listen to this song as we analyze this painting. Pay close attention to the lyrics of the song and how it pays tribute to the sacredness of Treaty 4. As you listen and observe the art, reflect upon how treaty making recognizes people's rights and responsibilities.
What are your responsibilities as a treaty person on this land? How does this song challenge your own ideas about treaties? How does this song raise awareness about the truthful history of this land? Let us listen and reflect.
While walking through these towers, we are reminded of the Cree term miyo-wîcêhtowin. The book Treaty Elders of Saskatchewan defines a miyo-wîcêhtowin as having or possessing good relations. The authors explain that this term encourages people to establish positive relations in all relationships, whether individually or collectively with others.
Cardinal states, good relations are an important part of the teachings of all the Treaty First Nations in Saskatchewan, and it is symbolized by the circle, which can be seen in the structure of many First Nations ceremonies. The circle is also represented in both Paskwāw and Wakpá towers, with the terrazzo floor designs located in the hallways of the north and south residences. This circular floor pattern is a direct connection to miyo-wîcêhtowin. Walking through the towers, we also notice there are a lot of tables and benches for students to relax and study. These tables and benches form a communal aspect of the towers, and they help foster good relationships. We notice students hanging out and spending time making positive relationships with one another. As we walk in the towers, we can hear chatter and laughter, which are signs of miyo-wîcêhtowin.
The towers also have many plants. The meaning of miyo-wîcêhtowin also includes making relationships with our more than human relatives. The inclusion of plants in the towers gives people the opportunity to build relationships with the beautiful greenery around them.
People can take the time to acknowledge, appreciate, and tend to the growth of these plants throughout the building. By building relationships with our more than human relatives, we can gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for the land we share with them. Pimachūwin is another Cree term we can connect to these towers. According to the Treaty Elders of Saskatchewan book, Pimachūwin is defined as the ability to make a living. The authors elaborate on this definition by explaining that respect is associated with Pimachūwin since it guides how people can exercise their duty to provide for their life needs from resources that the Creator has given them.
As we walk through the towers, we notice many offices for employees of the university, and we see the employees walking throughout the building. These people are making a living on this sacred land, and the towers are home to their work. Their jobs are important, and these towers provide a space for them to carry out their important work. They are using resources provided by the Creator to make a living. We must take the time to acknowledge that the Indigenous peoples on Treaty 4 have been making a living on this land for many generations, even long before the arrival of Europeans.